The vast plains of Glassern stretched endlessly in every direction, a barren expanse of icy dunes and jagged frost formations that gleamed under the faint light of twin suns. The biting wind howled ceaselessly, carving through the landscape and carrying with it an oppressive silence broken only by the crunch of boots on the frozen ground. Mira Walsh, a medic with the United Earth Exploration Corps, trudged forward, her breath forming crystalline puffs in the frigid air. Her visor's thermal readout flickered faintly, struggling to find any sign of life. She wasn't supposed to be out here alone. The rest of her team was stationed at Base Sigma, several kilometers away, analyzing crystal samples. But Mira, restless and driven by curiosity, had ventured farther than the designated survey zone. The frozen desert held an eerie beauty, and Mira found herself both awed and unnerved by its alien starkness. "Anything out there?" crackled the voice of her colleague, Jay, through her comm link. "Just ice and more ice," Mira replied, scanning the horizon. "Thermal's clear, wait." Her visor's display pulsed, a faint orange signal appearing to her left. She froze, staring at the anomaly. It was weak, flickering as if the source itself was fading. For a moment, Mira hesitated. Protocol dictated she report back immediately, but something about the faint signal tugged at her instincts. She adjusted her course, heading toward it. As she approached, the terrain became more treacherous, the ground riddled with deep crevices hidden beneath layers of frost. The signal grew stronger but remained faint, a dying ember in a sea of cold. Then she saw it. Nestled against a jagged ice formation was a figure, crumpled and motionless. Its form was otherworldly, shimmering, scaled skin that glowed faintly with hues of blue and silver, marred by deep gashes that oozed a dark, viscous fluid. Large, translucent fins extended from its back, now limp and tattered. Its face was framed by delicate frills, and its eyes, huge and luminous, flickered weakly as they locked onto Mira's. "Oh my God," Mira whispered, dropping to her knees beside the creature. Up close, she could see its chest rising and falling with shallow, labored breaths. She activated her medical scanner, but the readings were erratic, the alien physiology confounding her equipment. "You're alive," she said softly, her voice more for herself than the creature. "Barely." Mira fumbled for her emergency medkit, pulling out a cauterizer and a vial of universal antiseptic. The creature flinched as she approached, its eyes widening in fear. Mira held up her hands, trying to appear non-threatening. The soft hum of the camp's environmental generator filled the small shelter, a rhythmic background noise that seemed to keep the crushing silence of Glassern at bay. Mira worked tirelessly, her hands moving with precision despite her fatigue. The alien, still an enigma to her, lay on the cot, its shimmering scales dulled by injury and cold. She had no guide, no medical database to rely on, only her instincts and a steadfast resolve to save its life. Over the next several hours, Mira monitored the creature's condition. Its physiology was unlike anything she had encountered, even among the myriad alien species catalogued by Earth's explorers. Its blood was thick and dark, and its respiratory system appeared to operate in conjunction with the translucent fins along its back, which pulsed faintly with every shallow breath. Whatever it was, its body was both delicate and robust, an evolutionary marvel shaped by environments Mira could only imagine. She leaned back in her chair, rubbing her temples. Her medical scanner displayed a chaotic mess of vitals data that seemed to shift unpredictably. Whatever life form this was, its biology defied human understanding. She sighed and activated her comm link. "Jay, you there?" she called, her voice edged with frustration and weariness. A crackle of static preceded his reply. "Barely." "What's going on?" "You've been radio silent for hours." "I found something," Mira said. She hesitated, unsure how much to reveal. "An injured life form. Definitely not local. I'm treating it now, but it's complicated." "Complicated how?" "It's alien. Completely unlike anything I've seen. And it's in bad shape." There was a pause. You're telling me you've got an alien patient in your camp? You know what the protocol is for first contact, right? Yeah, I know, Mira said sharply. But if I followed protocol, it would have died out there. I'm not about to let that happen. Fair enough, Jay replied, his tone softening. Need backup? Not yet. I'll call if things change. Mira disconnected the comm link and turned her attention back to her patient. The creature stirred, its eyelids fluttering open. Its luminous eyes met hers, filled with both confusion and a flicker of awareness. Mira smiled softly, trying to convey reassurance. Hey there, she said gently. You're safe. Just try to rest. The alien made a low, melodic sound, a series of hums and trills that resonated in Mira's chest. She couldn't understand the words, but the tone was unmistakable, gratitude. Encouraged, she retrieved a nutrient drip and adjusted it to match the creature's physiology as best she could. The device hummed softly as it delivered the life-sustaining solution. The hours stretched into days. Mira worked tirelessly, her focus divided between her patient and the constant maintenance of the camp's equipment. As the alien's condition stabilized, it began to communicate more, its sounds growing more deliberate and patterned. Mira recorded everything, feeding the audio into her camp's rudimentary translation software. One night, as she sat beside the cot, the translation device emitted its first coherent words. Why? Help? The voice was soft and melodic, carrying an otherworldly quality. Mira stared at the device in shock, then at the alien, whose gaze was fixed on her. Why? She repeated, as if the question itself needed clarification. She hesitated, then shrugged. Because I couldn't just leave you out there. It's that simple. The alien's fins fluttered faintly, a motion Mira had come to recognize as an expression of emotion. It tilted its head, its luminous eyes studying her intently. Human, the device said, repeating her words in a synthesized tone. Compassion. Rare. Mira chuckled softly. Guess I'm one of a kind. The alien made another melodic sound, something that could have been a laugh. Its energy was returning, albeit slowly. Mira's efforts had bought it time, but she knew it wasn't enough. The creature needed proper care, the kind only its own kind could provide. As their interactions grew more frequent, Mira learned fragments of the alien story. Its name was Alicia, a member of the Isildur, a species she had only heard whispers of in interstellar lore. They were a race of powerful rulers and diplomats, their influence stretching across galaxies. Alicia revealed that she had been attacked during a diplomatic mission, her ship ambushed and her escorts killed. Left for dead, she had crash-landed on Glassern, her attackers assuming the planet's harsh conditions would finish the job. You were betrayed, Mira said, piecing together the story. Alicia's eyes dimmed slightly, a sign of pain emotional this time. Yes, the device translated. Enemies. Within. Mira frowned, anger bubbling beneath her exhaustion. Well, they're not going to win. Not if I can help it. Alicia's gaze softened, the fins on her back fluttering faintly. Grateful. Life. Debt. Mira waved a hand dismissively. You don't owe me anything. Let's just focus on getting you back on your feet. The days continued, and Alicia's strength grew. Mira marveled at the resilience of her patient, even as she struggled to fathom the enormity of the situation. She had saved an alien queen, no, more than that, she had forged a bond with someone whose world was far removed from her own. But as Alicia's recovery progressed, so did the realization that their time together was limited. Somewhere out there, Alicia's enemies were likely plotting their next move. For now, though, Mira pushed those thoughts aside. Her priority was simple: keep Alicia alive. The rest would come later. Mira sat hunched over the comm console, a cold cup of coffee forgotten by her side. The quiet hum of the generator and the rhythmic beep of Alicia's vitals filled the room as she scanned the message logs. Alicia, now strong enough to sit upright, watched from her cot. Her translucent fins fluttered faintly, the Isildur equivalent of a furrowed brow. Distress signal sent, Mira muttered. Frequencies cycling through Isildur bands. Someone out there's gotta pick it up. Alicia's luminous eyes narrowed. Dangerous, the translation device rendered in her soft, melodic tone. Enemies, listen. Mira swiveled her chair to face Alicia. You said your son the king would come if he knew you were alive. I had to take the risk. Alicia inclined her head, her scales catching the dim light like fractured glass. Wise. But enemies, persistent. The word lingered in the air, its weight unspoken. Mira leaned forward, resting her elbows on her knees. Tell me more about them, she said. Who are we dealing with? Alicia's fins fluttered again, a combination of frustration and sorrow. Advisor, treacherous. Name, Koresh. Ambition consumes. Plotted long. Struck when vulnerable. Mira felt a surge of anger on Alicia's behalf. Betrayal was a universal language, and this story was all too familiar. Why? Power? Alicia nodded. Kingdom. Isildur vast. Throne, coveted. Koresh, declared me dead. Consolidates rule. My son, thrown at risk. Mira exhaled slowly. The gravity of the situation was sinking in. She wasn't just helping a random alien survive, she was caught in the middle of a royal conspiracy that could destabilize an entire galactic system. A sharp beep interrupted her thoughts. Mira turned to the console and saw a blinking indicator, an incoming transmission. Her heart leapt. Someone's answering, she said, quickly activating the receiver. The console crackled before a deep, resonant voice filled the cabin. This is Isildur Royal Fleet Commander Trelos. Identify yourself. Mira glanced at Alicia, who nodded faintly. Mira took a deep breath and spoke. This is Mira Walsh of the United Earth Exploration Corps. I have someone here who needs your immediate attention. A pause, then Trelos replied. Specify. Mira leaned closer to the microphone. Her name is Alicia. She's alive and recovering, but she's in danger. She says your kingdom's been betrayed. There was silence, followed by a flurry of static as Trelos responded. Repeat. Queen Alicia is alive? Mira glanced at Alicia, who straightened and spoke directly into the translation device. Trelos. Loyal. Trustworthy. The device rendered her words. Trelos's tone shifted, becoming both urgent and reverent. I will dispatch a recovery team immediately. Hold your position and prepare for extraction. Before Mira could respond, a warning tone blared from her radar. Several unidentified objects were rapidly approaching their location. Trelos, Mira said, her voice tightening. We've got company. Alicia's fin stiffened, her gaze sharp. Koresh, mercenaries. Mira felt a chill that had nothing to do with the planet's frigid air. They tracked the signal. Trelos's voice came through, calm but commanding. Defend yourselves. Reinforcements are en route. The transmission cut out, leaving the camp in tense silence. Mira jumped to her feet and began locking down the shelter. She grabbed a plasma rifle from the emergency armory and tossed a smaller energy pistol to Alicia. Can you fight? Mira asked. Alicia nodded, her movements graceful despite her injuries. Isildur, warriors first. The first explosion rocked the camp, shaking the walls and scattering loose equipment. Mira peeked through the small window and saw shadowy figures moving across the ice, their forms illuminated by the faint glow of Glassern's twin suns. The mercenaries wore exosuits designed for extreme conditions, their weapons glowing ominously in the dim light. Myra's hands tightened on her rifle as she activated the camp's automated defenses. Energy turrets whirred to life, firing bolts of plasma that lit up the icy landscape. "Stay low," Mira said, crouching beside Alicia. "We just need to hold out until Trelos gets here." Alicia's eyes gleamed with determination. Together, strong. The battle was a blur of light and sound. Plasma bolts streaked across the icy terrain, and explosions sent shards of frost raining down like glass. Mira fought with a precision born of training, her rifle an extension of her will. Beside her, Alicia moved with surprising agility, her energy pistol finding its mark again and again. Despite their efforts, the mercenaries pressed closer, their numbers overwhelming the camp's defenses. Myra's heart pounded as she realized they might not hold out. Just as despair began to creep in, a brilliant light lit up the horizon. A massive Isildur battleship descended, its sleek, organic design glowing with an ethereal blue aura. Smaller fighters swarmed from its underbelly, engaging the mercenaries with ruthless efficiency. The tide of the battle turned in an instant. The mercenaries, outmatched and outgunned, retreated into the icy wasteland. Mira collapsed against the shelter's wall, her chest heaving with exertion. Alicia stood beside her, her fins fluttering with relief. The shelter's door burst open, and a squad of Isildur's soldiers entered, their armor gleaming and their weapons at the ready. At their head was a tall figure with regal bearing and piercing eyes that mirrored Alicia's. "Mother," the figure said, his voice filled with emotion. Alicia stepped forward, her strength and pride evident despite her injuries. "My son," she replied, her tone both tender and firm. The reunion was brief but heartfelt. The king turned to Mira and bowed his head. "Human," he said, his voice formal. "You have saved our queen. My gratitude knows no bounds." Mira, still catching her breath, managed a wry smile. "Glad I could help." But even as relief settled over the camp, Mira knew this was only the beginning. Koresh's betrayal was exposed, but his reach was vast, and the battle for the Isildur throne was far from over. The Isildur battleship hovered over Glassern's frozen plains, casting long shadows across the jagged ice. Mira, now aboard the ship with Alicia and the king, felt the gravity of the situation. The mercenaries' attack was a warning. Koresh wasn't going to let Alicia's survival derail his plans. Her rescue was only the first step in a much larger battle. Alicia, clad in ceremonial armor provided by her son, stood tall despite her injuries. Her translucent fins flared with determination, a testament to her resolve. The king, Arvian, addressed the ship's war council, a circle of Isildur generals and strategists. "Koresh has overplayed his hand," Arvian said, his voice resonating with authority. "He believed my mother's death would secure his control, but her return will expose his treachery." Alicia nodded. "Koresh will not surrender power easily. He has likely fortified the capital and turned many to his side. We must act swiftly." Mira, standing at the edge of the chamber, felt out of place among the Isildur aristocracy. Yet she couldn't deny her admiration for Alicia's strength and Arvian's leadership. She cleared her throat, drawing the council's attention. "Koresh knows you're coming," she said. "He'll expect a direct assault. What if we gave him something he didn't expect?" Arvian tilted his head, intrigued. "Go on." Mira glanced at Alicia, who nodded encouragingly. "You need to show the people that Alicia is alive and that Koresh lied to them. If we can transmit a message something undeniable, it could rally support before you even reach the capital." Arvian's fins fluttered thoughtfully. "A bold plan. And risky." Alicia stepped forward. "But necessary. The people must see the truth." The council quickly devised a strategy. A team of Isildur technicians worked to create a holographic broadcast, using footage of Alicia's recovery and her heartfelt message to the people. Mira helped craft the speech, focusing on Alicia's survival, her betrayal, and her determination to restore peace. The transmission was broadcast across Isildur space, hijacking every channel. Alicia's voice, calm and commanding, echoed across cities, ships, and outposts. The effect was immediate. Reports flooded in of loyalists rising against Koresh's forces, and entire fleets defected to support the rightful queen. But Koresh was not idle. The council soon received word that his forces had barricaded the royal palace, using hostages and automated defenses to hold off an attack. Arvian and Alicia agreed a direct confrontation was inevitable. The assault on the palace was swift and precise. Mira found herself accompanying the Isildur strike team, her medical expertise deemed invaluable for the wounded. She marveled at the Isildur's technology, their organic ships and weapons, a seamless blend of nature and engineering. As they breached the palace defenses, Mira witnessed firsthand the ruthlessness of Koresh's forces. Automated turrets fired relentlessly, and Koresh's personal guard, clad in blackened armor, fought with deadly efficiency. Yet the Isildur loyalists pressed forward, their unity and determination overpowering their enemies. Mira stayed close to Alicia and Arvian, who led the charge with regal ferocity. Alicia, despite her injuries, wielded an energy blade with precision, her movements graceful and deadly. Arvian, clad in golden armor, fought like a lion defending its pride. They reached the throne room, its grandiose architecture marred by the signs of Koresh's paranoia barriers, traps, and scorch marks from previous battles. At the center stood Koresh, his imposing form draped in dark robes, a cruel sneer on his face. "So, the queen lives," Koresh said, his voice dripping with disdain. "A pity your return changes nothing." Alicia stepped forward, her blade at the ready. "You betrayed your people, Koresh. Surrender, and you may yet live." Koresh laughed, a hollow, mirthless sound. "You speak of betrayal, yet it is your weakness that doomed us. The throne belongs to those strong enough to seize it." Arvian growled, stepping beside his mother. "Your ambition blinds you, Koresh. This ends now." The final battle was swift and brutal. Koresh, wielding a staff crackling with dark energy, fought with a ferocity born of desperation. But he was no match for the combined might of Alicia and Arvian. Mira watched in awe as mother and son fought in perfect harmony, their movements a dance of precision and power. In the end, Koresh fell, his staff clattering to the floor as he collapsed at Alicia's feet. The loyalists quickly secured the palace, and Alicia reclaimed her throne. Mira treated the wounded as celebrations erupted across the capital. In the days that followed, peace was restored to the Isildur kingdom. Alicia and Arvian worked tirelessly to rebuild, their bond stronger than ever. Mira, though eager to return to her own mission, was hailed as a hero and honored with a ceremony in the royal court. As the celebrations waned, Alicia approached Mira, her fins fluttering softly. "Mira Walsh," she said, her voice warm. "You risked much to save me. Our people owe you a debt that cannot be repaid." Mira smiled. "I just did what I thought was right. Besides, I got to be part of something incredible." Alicia inclined her head. "You are always welcome among the Isildur. Our alliance with Earth will grow stronger because of you." Mira nodded, feeling a surge of pride. As she boarded her transport back to her expedition, she looked out at the shimmering Isildur capital, a testament to resilience and unity. She knew her life had been forever changed by the events on Glassern. And somewhere in the vastness of space, she carried the knowledge that an unbreakable bond had been forged between two very different worlds.